Hello and welcome back to Maha Mamas. This is episode 8. I'm Tonya.
I'm Jennifer.
And we are just kind of going to talk today, I think. Yeah?
Because there's always so much going on.
I know. We took a break because it was 4th of July.
Mm-hmm. And we all have our fingers in our families.
Yes.
So that was good.
Nobody lost a finger or an eye here.
But we did get rained on with what's all in those fireworks?
Heavy metals and colors.
Lead.
I don't even know. Maybe we should all detox.
Yeah.
I'll take like an Epsom salt bath.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like the smell of fireworks,
I
but
know.
that's probably not something I should be inhaling. But you know what? It's
I love fireworks.
I do too. But like that's my 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
80% clean, 20%. Okay. Fireworks are in there.
You heard it here first. 80-20 rules.
And hair colors.
I know. I do it too.
Sadly, they don't have a natural bleach. They only have natural darkening agents, and it doesn't help me.
Okay, enough about all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so something new that happened this week is FDA has now approved an updated label for their mRNA COVID-19 vaccine.
What's that all about?
It now requires a warning regarding the myocarditis and the pericarditis.
Which is basically like heart inflammation.
I know. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Pericarditis is the inflammation of the pericardium, which is the sac, I believe. And the myocarditis is inflammation of the heart tissue itself.
Right. And this is mostly seen in young men. And I hope this isn't news to anybody because this was so obvious.
Why did all soccer players start dying?
I know.
I don't mean to laugh. That's horrible.
We're not laughing.
But that didn't happen
when
before.
People were just suddenly, dying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why now there's this new updated label warning people, which again,
is there a warning for the 800% increase in stillbirth and miscarriage too? I don't know. Is there? There should be.
There should be. Okay. So that's updated label. So I hope you go tell all your friends.
Yeah.
Another thing this week, there was a leaked document. It was from the minutes of the Bio Vaccine Policy Steering Committee meeting, which was held back in April, but these minutes were just leaked. And basically, they are creating this coup to go and get Secretary Kennedy out of his position by September. Everybody's really upset. Here, I have a screenshot of everybody who's involved. Okay, so maybe. Hold on.
Isn't it the plaintiffs, you mean? It's the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Well, no. That's this one here. So BIO stands for Biotechnology Innovation Organization. So whose memberships include Pfizer, Merck, Novavax, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously they are concerned about their profits, right? Like this is a money thing. That's always has to do with greed. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Secretary Kennedy is exposing a lot, and they now are trying to get him out by September. That's what these minutes were about. In fact, they are going to use like half of this committee's money. I think they have like $4 million in this committee. They're going to use $2 million for a campaign called Why We Vaccinate.
Okay, so why do we do that?
Oh my goodness. They're going to come at you. I hope everybody's prepared because I feel like since COVID-19, I feel like the whole thing was just a study on like a population of
a social experiment.
Yes, like a total social experiment of what it took for someone to get the vaccine. Like, did it take a free donut? Did it take, being called a grandma killer? Did it take your pastor telling you to get it?
Did it take a bag of weed?
Right. It's true. It was happening. Inner
city Chicago.
Yes.
We'll give you a dime bag if you take the juice.
Yes. So they know what works. What did work, like this whole social experiment, they know what it takes. So I feel like they'll now target that specifically, like why we vaccinate, what is going to get, are they going to show old things about polio, quote unquote, right? Are they going to...
With Sarah McLachlan.
Yes, Sarah McLachlan.
Like in the ASPCA where it's like all the half-dead dogs and music playing.
Yes, so true.
Except it'll be like the Iron
Oh my goodness.
Or like, I'm in this Facebook group where I saw a post today where this chick was like, I went to the pediatrician and I stood up to my pediatrician and said we weren't ready. And he was like, well, do you know how many kids I've seen die because they didn't? And like, in 20 years, I've heard people say that they've had pediatricians say that to them. Like, do you know how many children I've seen die? I feel like if we took all the pediatricians who have spun that BS, it would have wiped out half the population.
Right.
Because, so many children. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No,
and that's a lie.
And they're still saying all the things about like vaccines stopped things like what?
Measles.
Measles, yes. Which that's a whole thing in itself. The measles was like going way downhill before the vaccine even came out. And it wasn't killing people anymore.
It peaked and then natural immunity kind of did its thing. And then, so like, here's bad measles, lots of people having problems. And by the way, they weren't dying from the measles.
Right.
It's a fever and a rash. They were dying from dehydration and dysentery because it was populations of low socioeconomic status, didn't have access to clean water, good nutrition. Vitamin A is like a really big component to being able to fight various viruses, including measles.
If you have like a vitamin A deficiency.
Which people in third world countries a lot of times do have a vitamin A deficiency because they're really just eating rice and barely drink. You know what I mean? So the measles deaths were never a first world problem. So, but then
started going
downhill. But then it was like, here's the peak and then here's the valley, measles, like barely any left. Boom, let's inoculate everybody right over here.
And then tell everybody that.
And then tell everybody that measles saved the world from, or the measles vaccine saved the world from. That's not, it didn't eradicate it. It's still around.
I know, you have to go back and look at the graphs. And so as it's going down, like the rate that it kills people, like it basically, it was high at one time because of all of these things. But as we started getting like clean water, as we started getting refrigeration, as things were improving environment wise, then the death rate just plummeted. Like people weren't dying from it anymore because we had what we need. So
yeah. And I mean, like, even like polio, polio is the big one. Like, my grandpa had to walk with braces because of polio. Well, here's some things that I would encourage everybody to look into. And we probably should have given that disclaimer. Like, we're not medical
doctors.
Professionals. We're not here to diagnose, treat, cure, none of that. We're here to help you think on your own. And we don't want you to take anything we say at face value. We want you to look it up. I want you to look up how many people actually suffered paralysis from polio, the one that they scare you with the most. It was like 4 to 6% of the people were symptomatic with polio. And then there's this whole thing with DDT.
Yes.
They used to spray the population with DDT.
Yes.
Those symptoms
had that side effect. Like those are what it caused.
They had the same side effect. Like it mirrored polio. And then I just saw Del Bigtree was doing an interview with Alex Clark the other day. And he told her how like FDR, President Roosevelt.
At the time,
they said he had polio. Remember, he was in a wheelchair. He had transverse myelitis.
Yes.
So sometimes they rename things, which is kind of what we've seen them do with autism and, like other, like we just rename things. We call them different things so that we can, anyway. I'm getting off on a tangent here. But study the history of disease.
Yes, and that DDT, they used to spray like kids, like it's like this fog, this like mist.
They would just go down the street and do it.
Spray. There's pictures of them spraying kids like in a pool. Like all the kids are playing in a pool and they're like spraying above the pool and the kids are all playing in it. And it was like to kill mosquitoes. Well, it caused polio like
symptoms.
Yeah. And everybody was saying it was polio and it wasn't. And then they stopped spraying that. And then the vaccine, like again, like they tried to say, the vaccine stopped it. Well, no, they stopped spraying DDT. So,
and the only polio it could be globally or in this country, fact check me, but in the last 50 years have been from the immunization, not from like wild polio.
Right.
So that's a whole nother topic about shedding and all that. But
I know. But okay, so this whole why we vaccinate campaign, really quick, just to kind of tail in that, I feel like before COVID, like those of us that didn't vaccinate, like pre-COVID, 100% know what we're choosing, like 100% all in. have no regrets. I'm not sitting here ever regretting that I never vaccinated my children. Like, but since COVID, now we have this, people are vaccine hesitant now, and parents have been like, okay, maybe we're going to stop vaccinating. I'm questioning it, right? They've lost the public trust, but
that's amazing.
I'm so happy about it. Mm-hmm. But we also now have this group of young moms or people just now starting this journey that really haven't researched everything, that are going to be pulled right back in when they show something like Why We Vaccinate campaigns on TV or what have you. If they're like the measles cases that were just in Texas, didn't even scare us. I'm so sorry that there were deaths, but those weren't deaths from measles.
Neglect.
Right. The hospital protocol was completely wrong. And so I hope those people get justice, because that was,
and arguably with the Mennonite family, it was almost like it was a purposeful neglect because they knew that their child hadn't had
the hospital neglect. Yeah.
I mean, and that's not proven, but if you listen to their story and how their daughter was like denied water, I mean, and comments were made about her like, oh, okay, so you're punishing them.
And then they leave. They got them like a hotel and told them to leave, and then all of a sudden she started going downhill. And
it was awful.
You guys should go listen to their story. And they are the most amazing parents. Like, they're like, we still have no regrets. All our other kids got measles. The whole community got measles, and it was fine. Like, it was like when they took her to the hospital, that's where she ended up dying, and that's so sad. And that's what happened during COVID too. It was like hospital protocols are killing
everybody
people.
died in the hospital, dude.
I know.
Like, how many people died at home from? I want to see a study.
Right. I know. So,
and I mean, like, and then natural wild measles has benefits that have been shown to like prevent brain cancers and other cancers. So when we start messing with, and I mean, I'm not even saying that like you're messing with God, because disease is a result of the fall, right? But then our bodies were designed by God to take care of it. And so then when you start messing with it, you kind of disrupt the order of things.
Yes, like there's still an order to, disease or sickness. Like that, we can get into a lot right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay going.
I know, like those 3-hour podcasts.
I know. We're trying not to do a lot of people. But we can talk about that with the fever in a second, maybe. But anyway, what was the story real quick? There was a lady in a non-vaccinated group.
Oh yeah, I have the exact post. I'm going to pull it up.
So these are the parents that we're worried about. We're trying to meet you where you're at. Okay. If you're new to not vaccinating, I know. If you're new to not vaccinating, we're so happy that you are here. But questions like this are hard to,
okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I'm going to be traveling via airplane with my 7-month-old twins, and I'm a little nervous that they're not vaccinated. I was going to do a delayed schedule, but I think my husband and I don't want to vaccinate them at all. How can I prepare to take a 2-hour flight with unvaccinated babies? The same way you would. Honestly, I don't even know.
No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not even mad at her. Okay, I'm mad at the people with all these powers from above that create this fear. Like your child, if these people think that their child's not whole,
like they think you're not whole, like you're not born vaccine deficient,
right?
You're not born that way.
Yes, you're not vaccine.
You are born with a completely intact immune system.
Yes,
where you were given everything you need to fight disease. We can talk about ways to boost that immune system naturally that helps you fight even better.
Right.
Breastfeeding for an extended period of time, clean diet, proper sunlight, supplementation, not having toxins in your home. We can talk about that till we're blue in the face. The thing is this woman actually has been brainwashed to think that her children are vulnerable because they have not had a toxic metal-loaded virus injected into their body to trick their immune system.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's just sad. And there's people out there that will literally call unvaccinated kids like crotch goblins, which is so vulgar.
Oh, it is.
As if they're like these dirty, mangy cur dogs. But I've interviewed multiple pediatricians. Our first pediatrician shared with us that most of his patients that are not jabbed are the children of doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, highly educated people who know how to do their own upper class. So there's also this lie that they're ignorant or illiterate, dumb people that are just negligent moms smoking crack and not taking their kid to the pediatrician.
Right.
No, these are people that do their due diligence and trusted more than a piece of paper that you're handed that says, oh, this could happen. And if it did, call this number. But here's the thing. The American Academy of Pediatrics, which we'll get into in a minute.
Yes.
The same pediatrician told me that they train them how to deflect. When parents start asking questions about, well, this happened after our last vaccine, didn't feel right, or, you know, my kid regressed and started banging their head on the floor after the MMR. Well, that's because they have encephalitis now, brain swelling, which happens a lot with vaccination. Oh, that's probably just a coincidence, or that's, you know, just it's normal. That's a normal. And get like and so I straight up asked him, I look at him, so they teach you to distract us from that. 100% they teach you to just, yes. And he's like, I will never do that because that's dishonest.
Good.
And so I'm thankful for doctors like that. But speaking of the American Academy, so that's like how would you describe what they do? They're kind of like the guiding voice for pediatricians, right? And most pediatricians are members of it.
Okay.
Here's some things about the American Academy of Pediatrics before we get into that. Here's one thing in particular that they recently published a policy statement ensuring comprehensive care and support for transgender and gender diverse children and adolescents. Although all clinics and professional associations in the world use what's called the watchful waiting approach to help gender diverse children, the American Academy of Pediatrics statement instead rejected that consensus, endorsing only gender affirmation as the only acceptable approach.
That's insane.
So these guys are behind puberty blockers, mutilative surgeries.
Yeah.
And these are the guys that are, so what are they doing? They're suing.
Yeah, they are suing. It's the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American College of Physicians, the American Public Health Association, and then a few others are all suing Secretary Kennedy over what?
Because he asked for a warning label to be put on the COVID-19 vaccine, right? Isn't that the reason?
No, because they stopped recommending it for pregnant women and
children. So anybody under 65 too, I think, was another one. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the thing said definitely for the pregnant women,
but the AAP's mad that they're not.
And that's the children one.
They don't think it should be on the child. He doesn't think it should be on the childhood schedule.
Yes.
Duh. Why would it?
Which they went through all the studies and all the things and all the risk benefit analysis and everything that's happening now with that warning label because of the myocarditis and all that. Like it was obvious that there's too much risk here and this shouldn't be on the CDC schedule. Like it can still be an option if you want to get it, but he's taking it off the schedule. It's not going to be recommended anymore.
So basically you don't need it to go to school.
Right.
Because the flu shot's optional like that too.
But in some states it's not.
Yeah.
I think California, New York.
There were several for a while.
Oh my gosh.
But so I just want to paint a picture for you.
Yes.
The same people
oh my goodness,
who think that you need to inject children for a virus that is causes death in less than like 0.1% of something. Remember they said like kids don't need to worry. It's not a risk to children. They think it's okay to lob off children's genitals. And this is who we're trusting when they say, yeah, your 18-year-old, by the time your kid turns 18, they should have 92 doses of vaccines to complete the schedule. Because it depends on which state, but it's anywhere from 72 to 92. It's growing every day. Why would we trust them with that? And I want to go back to the lady that was worried about the airplane. We only fear what we're marketed to fear. There's over 1,200 communicable diseases, I believe. We vaccinate for a handful of them.
Compared to how many there are.
But
the schedule's insane.
Why are we only scared of those?
Because those are the ones we're marketed to be
Those are the ones you're told to be scared of.
And that's why why we vaccinate campaign is coming for you.
It's coming. And so you have to be like, I would love to say to that lady, your research, you are too early in your research. Like, you are not confident. I laugh now when I hear that there's a measles outbreak. I laughed when they said, oh, there's a new strain of COVID. Masks might start getting, oh, try me. Yeah. Like, I laugh every time I hear that there's an outbreak.
Like, I'm not worried of the outbreak. I'm worried of the hospital protocol. Like, I'm worried about, like,
yes, for sure.
What is worrisome, for sure. So, and also I was going to say, like, the American Academy of Pediatrics also would recommend what for fevers?
Piggybacking Tylenol and ibuprofen.
Yes, they all
to suppress the frontline battle soldiers in your immune system.
Right. So pediatricians, if your pediatrician is telling you to freak out, like when your child has a fever, and to like bring them into the office, we need to check them, start Tylenol.
We need to do a spinal tap.
Oh my gosh.
If your child's under 3 months and has a 99-degree fever over.
Oh, please find a different pediatrician. Because you know what? Fevers are beneficial. And I wish more parents knew that. I wish these new moms, I can't be mad at these moms. I'm more mad at, this like AAP.
Well, I mean, this is the same people that say, give your kid this many shots at 2 months, and then at 4 months, and then at 6 months, and 6 months is where we see a lot of SIDS deaths.
And then give Tylenol after shots.
And then give Tylenol after.
Talk about that.
Glutathione. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, fevers are beneficial. That's your body telling you that you're fighting something.
Yeah, and it helps create more antibodies of what you're fighting, and it helps rid off the virus because it's raising the temperature to kill off the virus. It is such a good thing. It's part of God's design. It means your immune system is working. When my kids get a fever, I always say, thank you, God, for their immune system. Like, thank you that it's working properly, because that's what it's supposed to do. That's your first line of defense.
But Western medicine teaches that symptom equals bad. Symptoms are your body's communication system telling you something's off and we're trying to work through it.
Yeah.
So when you suppress the symptom, you're also suppressing the defense mechanisms that are naturally put in place by your immune system. Now, can fevers be scary and uncomfortable? Yes. But even the febrile seizure is harmless. They're harmless.
And that happens when your body temperature rises too quickly.
And so some
people can have like a 105, 106 fever and still be okay. It's just if it rises quickly.
And once it goes over 105, that's when I'm looking to see if somebody swallowed Drano, because usually if it's a high fever, like 105 to 106, it's poison.
Right.
There's a poison situation, because our bodies really shouldn't go higher than that. There's been an outside factor that's created that.
Absolutely.
So you need to check and see if there's a cleaning cabinet open or something like that.
Absolutely.
And I learned all that. I'm going to promote a book. It's called How to Raise a Healthy Child in Spite of Your Doctor.
Yes, that's a good one.
By Dr. Robert Mendelsohn. He's a 30-year pediatrician. His chapter on fevers is phenomenal. It took away all my fear when it comes to fevers.
Yes, because you start to see it as a good thing, because it's God's design.
And another reason why fevers spike quickly is because of this erroneous idea that you either have to freeze them or burn them out. So, really warm bath, or like on Little House on the Prairie, like they used to pack them in ice.
Yeah,
remember
don't
that?
do that. No.
So the ice will make it spike because your body's working harder to control its temperature, and the heat will make it spike because you're super hot. So that's why they always say a tepid bath is good. Peppermint oil on the feet will bring a fever down. But it's all the lies. These are the people that are suing Robert Kennedy. And these are the weirdos we're supposed to trust with our children's health. I mean, I'm glad people's eyes are opening, but we still have a lot of work to do when there's people scared to go on airplanes with their unvaccinated kids.
We have flown all over the country with our kids, and that has never been a concern. Like,
no, and I get it. Airplanes are gross. It's everybody's recycled germs blowing through the vents. But
still, I'm like,
but I would be just as gross. I would be popping more vitamin C on a flight just because of that, not because my kids are, just because they're gross.
Yeah. So keep doing your research. We can only tell you little snippets here and there, but there's so much you've got to go out. You can't just take our word for it. You've got to go do the research until you're confident and you understand not only the history of disease and, what's the ingredients in vaccines, etc. But like, I'm talking about like the awful side of the industry, like the evil that is involved, the corruption, the conflict of interest. Once you start seeing both sides of that together, it's eye-opening. I don't want anything to do with it.
It's creepy evil, dude.
Yeah.
Like, someday we're going to talk about the godfather of vaccines on here, and we're going to show some clips from a deposition he did. This is a guy that he's one of the most coldest, chilling men I have ever heard, aside from Leroy Carpenter.
And he's an atheist.
And he's an atheist.
We need to share all that, because that's why people try to say, okay, like a religious exemption shouldn't be valid. Yes, it should. When you hear these atheist, scientist people talking about abortions and what they do to make these and how it's no big deal and they kill all these babies and they're using all these organs. Yeah, it's not. It's like totally evil.
And like the rubella vaccine, I'll just throw that one out there. That's the one where they're like, oh, women who are pregnant should never be exposed to rubella. That's why we all have to vaccinate, because it could kill their unborn baby. Here's the deal. To get the rubella vaccine, they had to murder over 80 children. Because, there's this misconception that, oh, the aborted fetuses that they use were just left over from abortions. We're just taking advantage of making a good out of a bad situation, right? No, they were purposeful murders because they had to get the right DNA sequence and then just the right, the right one.
Yeah.
And so they kept impregnating all these women, probably in a lab, and they kept murdering these babies until they found the right one to grow these, cells off to make the rubella vaccine. So it's a very dark
industry.
It's very Frankenstein, Third Reich, Hitler, nasty. They've experimented on babies of women in prison. Just go to YouTube and search Stanley Plotkin's deposition.
Yeah, it's like
it's 9 hours, but there's lots of clips of things that he said about what they do to make your vaccines, and it's chilling.
And yeah, they do talk about all that, who they've worked on. I feel like there's almost a lot of like racism in the vaccine industry too. Like, we don't have to get into all that today, but
Tuskegee, what was that?
Oh, Tuskegee
experiment.
Yes, which they ended up winning like their whole lawsuit, because they were they had told the African American men that they were like curing them from syphilis, and they had to come and get the shots and all this stuff, and they weren't curing them at all. It was just like basically a social experiment type of thing that they were doing on them. And then there's been inner city stuff in LA. I just feel like there's so much so much targeting of people of color, and I just pray that people open their eyes.
There was that Gardasil one where they tested on the girls in that village in like South America.
Yeah, and they were all getting what do you call it? Like infertility. Like they were not. They were like sterilizing.
Well, and then the other scary thing about Gardasil is now we're seeing cases of young little girls having genital warts that have never been in a situation where that should have happened, that they've gotten the Gardasil. Because remember, you're injecting the virus into you. So that's why sometimes when you get the MMR, you show measles symptoms. That's,
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like the measles outbreaks, a lot of times they go back and find out that it was vaccine strain that started it. So
for sure.
Random thought. Yeah. Sorry.
And then like the DTaP vaccine was experimented on in Watts, LA, which is a very Black population in the inner city of Los Angeles. And that was in the 90s. And a lot of boys died from that. And then more that died from like the diseases DTaP prevents.
Right. Yes. And then there was the cover up, the whole autism thing, where it was being seen more in African-American little boys, very specifically to them. And they threw that out. It was a whole cover up.
That was covered in Vaxxed, right?
Yeah. Yes.
There's a documentary called Vaxxed. There's Vaxxed 2 and now Vaxxed 3.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. If you're still early on your journy, go watch those documentaries.
Yes.
Because they're very informative.
I feel like the more you go down it, you'll understand I have no regrets.
Yeah.
I don't have a single.
Well, and I mean, what got me there was SIDS babies, which is another story, and I'll have to tell it another time. But I would have followed the herd. Like I would have been like, oh yeah, I'll line my kids up. That's what you do. That's what I did, even though I got like a quarter of what they give now.
Right.
But it was something that stood out to me as an investigator on SIDS deaths that I'm like, wait a minute, why are these babies dying at 24 hours after their shots, you know? And there is legitimately still people that would say, but that's for the greater good. You know, we gotta just take some collateral damage with that for, you know, everybody to be safe.
Right. For like herd immunity.
Who lost their babies.
Yeah, because that's what they'll say. It's for herd immunity. It's
okay
losing some.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole thing in another
herd
story.
Immunity only comes from actual disease progression.
And that's what I'm saying is like they'll be like, oh well, for herd immunity it's okay if we lose some kids. But I want to be like, no, natural herd immunity, like, okay, you still might lose some kids, like our most vulnerable. But I feel like that's like not in a that's gonna make somebody mad. But like in the like there's still natural order to how things work. And I just hate how it's like, okay, we gotta give this to all like our strongest ones. I don't know. There's an order to, there's a design, we've just totally screwed it up. This is a whole nother episode worthy, but we've totally screwed it up trying to play God and trying to like do this. And then, you know, doing the abortions and all this along the way, we are not in a good place. And
I mean, every time we have played God, it has not ended well for us.
No.
Whether that's gain of function research,
right,
or in vitro fertilization, or vaccines,
birth control, all the things.
You know, yeah, it's just,
I know.
It's an insane
world.
I'll
have to, there's so much I'm thinking of right now. We'll have to do another episode, but
but we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your questions? Where are you at on your journey? Remember to like, subscribe, hit the like button, all that stuff.
Woo-woo.
And then engage us. We love your comments. We'd love to talk to you in the comments and see what everybody's thinking. So just do that, and we will see you next time.
Yes. So thanks for listening to the Maha Mamas podcast, where we hope to inspire you to reclaim your health by trusting God's design.
But remember, God helps those who help themselves. So go get after it.
Woo, go.